Morning, everyone. What's happening, everyone? How's it going? What a move overnight, eh? Finally, the market doing what it should have done for the last week plus. All right. Funny how it does it on a Sunday. I think we talked about that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Said probably end up holding it in range and doing it on a Sunday because they're dirty, because they only want to pay the swings. All right. So what have we had then? Let's have a look at the daily charts again. In case I need to say it, make sure you're fit and able to be here, folks. Make sure you're fit and able to be here. It's going to be a very, very volatile market today. Okay, we're going to be very fast moving. We're in negative gamma. We're at VIX basing above 30. They've put in a new call wall all the way up at 40. We're in a very fast moving environment. So the squeezes back will be very fast. The drops will be very fast. You will not need size. You're going to need to be deeply accurate. All right, let's have a look what we got. All right, we left. Finally, we left. I kept talking about it. We built out all this liquidity. We had liquidity above, which is trapped, right? This caused this move. This here should cause this move, which is what we were looking for last week. Finally, they've done it on a Sunday. Now, we found a bid to the tick where I said we are likely to find a bid, and that's going to be the big over-under now, which is 24,000. Why was that important? Well, first of all, we had a shelf here, right? A profile here built back all the way between, I don't know, July and September last year. All right, we built a node there. On top of that, if we go down to the lows that we put in back in April last year and we put an anchored VWAP on, look what we came into. So we had Confluence here. We had the big node, a big whole number, and the anchored VWAP off the last pivot. All right, so we expected the market to trade in there and then probably find a bit of a bid before maybe wanting to break lower. Now, if we do break lower this week, all right, we have some notice. The other side of this 24,000 will be 23,900. We lose that, we're going to trade 23,775, 23,685. We have an anchored VWAP off the old pivot high here, which I'm going to take notice to, which is basically into the 500s. But once we start losing that, like we talked about, the 161 move, or if we think about this, the 161 move, right, is all the way down into this node. And it's very possible, I'm not saying it does it this week, but we talked about it last week, right? If we do get sell side pressure, it's very possible that we either do a retracement to here or maybe even a measured move before bidding back up. We're thick down here, right? So market might be attracted to get there. Definitely doesn't have to be this week. That we can talk about the whole of Q1 as a whole, right? So what have we had now? Well, we're bidding off the anchored VWAP and we're going to come and back test the area that we lost. Okay, so at the moment we have some liquidity right where we are now, right at these lows. The question is going to be today, do sellers defend this, leave this gap open and come and retest some of these overnight levels? Or are we going to back test and hold and fill this gap to the upside? And is it actually this level here that they're going to defend for that sell side pressure? So we can get a bit more of a clue on that in the hourlies. So let's have a look at that. Jump down, time frames here. All right, just focus on this one with me. All right, you can see last week's profile. We were very, very thin. Oh, why have you extended? Let's get rid of you. You're not supposed to do that. There we go. We were very thin underneath this shelf. So we're back testing previous week pivots. All right, we're back testing these lows right now. My idea would be that we will either fail this low and come back down to overnight at 270s, overnight point of control. And if we lose that, probably down all the way into here, 100s, 150s, 130s. All right. Or if we're going to hold this, we're going to come and back test previous week's value area low and probably find the same sell there. And we'll be looking for this and this on the way down. If they start washing in this gap, you need to be careful. Any reclaim and hold, all right, and what I'm not talking about is like a pop and fail. Any reclaim of this week and hold is pretty bullish, all right, because we've now, if you remember, we had lots of liquidity down here to clean up. We've now cleaned that up. We've come to 24,000. If they reclaim these value areas, certainly if we zoom out, yeah, any reclaim of definitely of 24,800, this is uber bullish at that point, because this would be a look below a range, cleaning out the stops, and then coming back inside and very bullish. So I'm willing to be more bullish if we reclaim this range now than I was for the prior 2 or 3 weeks, because why? We've now cleaned it up. It now will serve as a proper failed breakout if we reclaim. Not until that point I'm looking short, all right, just to make that clear. It's just an if we reclaim. All right, for those of you who want to look at the GEX levels, I'm going to zoom these in. All right, they've put some new 0 DTEs lower. All right, we are in negative gamma right now. They're expecting potentially a move down to 23,845. All right, if we close the gap, we get into the equal range, which would be a move back towards 24,835. Man, if they do that, like I said, that's a very, very strong move to get back inside that range. That's highly impressive. I don't expect us to do it, but you never know. What if he comes out and says that's the end of the war, the barrage is over? I mean, it's possible, folks. We can't act like that can't happen. It can. This could have been constructed in a very clever way on a Sunday evening. All right, lower time frames. So you know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for pops to fail this morning until we reclaim all of this, and then I'll consider that they're not going to sell it, and I'll consider a reclaim of range. We move into the ES and ETFs. These are all going to become very, very important. All right, so ES, you can see drifting up. Again, took out the 6600, which was the level it was aiming for. We are now just back testing the same kind of thing, right? We're back testing where we've broken out from. All right, we expect this to be defended. All right, maybe even here, but this possibly to be defended. Start reclaiming these levels. Start reclaiming. Let's just call it 40s, 740s, and we can think about that squeeze upside. But really, they should defend, 760s, 790s, if they even allow it up there. Really, you'd want to see this gap stay open if you're bearish. You'd want to see them leave this gap open if you're uber bearish. All right, spiders. Again, you can see they're pricing in 660. It's where they think it's going to come. So this is our SBR level now. All right, very, very simple. Support becomes resistance. All right, it was support once, twice. All right, it's the edge of range. Finally, they've let it go. There's the gap down. We're coming inside this. So we can also think about something pretty simple here. Maybe we should just quickly have a look at this on NQ. Let's measure out the size of that opening gap. To the lows, right into the golden pocket. Okay, very interesting. And what about to the open? 50% would be 535. Okay. QQQ. All right, this is now finding a bid of 200-day. All right, your 200-day on QQQ is right here. All right, so that you know, same kind of story. I still would like to take out this pivot on the Qs. This is the last remaining one on cash. So we can mark this off if you're trading cash. 58750s, all right? Take out 58750s, you get a sort of waterfall effect there. We are under all those big CTA levels now, but you start taking these out and we really start getting heavy. You can look at the 580s that they're starting to price in, and we start losing that. You know, we've got to come all the way back to here like we talked about. 540s is possible. So if we stay heavy under 80s, 40s is possible over the remaining quarter, I'd say, the next month or so. Well, that's so war dependent now. Have to see what they do. All right, VIX, like we talked about. Dixie, by the way, bidding up. So you're seeing metals start to have a little bit more weakness and chop around in as Dixie's caught a bid on that squeeze, turning back inside. Have to see if they rebid this or not. And you can see the risk on assets right now. Hedging has continued into Bitcoin, but I don't think that will last too long, so be very, very careful. But this is the big one, right? We talked about this the whole time. VIX in this upward sloping channel and has been in a long time. It's very, very dangerous. We're starting to take out the pivots. You can see that they've priced in 40s now, and we start looking above. We get through 40s. We're right back here at 60s, right? This was that tariff level, right? That was the big tariff level, and then trade back down and sideways, and we're seeing that re-squeeze upside pressure. All right, be aware of that, folks. Be aware of it. So all the time we're elevated on VIX. Very, very dangerous market. We can have a quick look at the mag. We're running out of time here. Apple, needless to say, all of these pretty much are going to be gapping down. Apple gapping down underneath that key pivot. All right, remember this was the RBS zone underneath the key pivot. I'd say if it loses losing 55s, you're going to see weakness. Amazon gapping down as well. So back into this congestion zone that we talked about, broken out. All right, can it hold this? Otherwise, we're going to fail back inside this slop. But you're going to see the whole market pretty much gapping down. Goog. There's your gap down. All right, big gap down. Back test of 95. Does it stay heavy for continuation and sell-off, or does it go back inside the gap? Meta, all right, same thing, gapping down, coming towards the edge of this range here. If they start breaking this, we're going to see more weakness come into Meta. They need to really reclaim 640s and 645s. Microsoft, all right, gapping down after a nice rally back with the software. Remember, software has caught a bid. This is backside of this move. This is coming back to test this 400 level. That's the level that they'll be watching on Softy. Do they hold that for a rebid or not? Nvidia, all right, let's zoom out of this. Hasn't broken 170 yet, but this looks nothing more than backside now. All right, if we start breaking 170, this is where all hell will break loose. If we break the 170 on NVIDIA, you can just mark that out. You can see the importance of it. 170 brings us down to 163, and then you've got back test of all these old pivots down here. So lots of range being held there. If they lose that, they're in trouble. So 170 is still the big level, still being held for now. Tesla, another gap down into the edge of the range for Tesla. So it just depends if they're going to bid this range from last week into 85s, but it's starting to look not too good here. If we start to lose 88s, we're very, very close, and you're going to see weakness. Some of the software names also, by the way, are gapping down, giving back some of the profits because we're in a risk-off environment, but we're just going to have to see if these software names hold a bid. Like, I would like Netflix to come way back, right? I'm up huge on this right now, but I would look, if the market starts flushing, I want to get an ad down here on Netflix, right? There's the proof of concept. Let's come back in and offer me a rebid. That would be great. But again, we're long from the 70s, and we're looking for this now to add. But just be aware, yeah, some of those software names did catch a nice bid. They might come right back inside, especially the ones that they don't trust so much. Would not surprise me in the slightest. Okay, I'm going to tell you this now. I'm going to do my best to not actually answer too many questions at the open today, all right? Because I find it distracting. I know what I'm looking for. I try and make it clear with you guys what I'm looking for. Just be smart. Just be smart. One thing we could do, I guess, is do an anchor off this low right now. It takes us right into POC. So it's worth noting. I'm going to do that as white. There we go. Get set up here. All right. Pull this trend out. What's this level here? 300. Sorry, folks, I'm just marking everything out on Ninja. 300's that dense level. All right, let's see what we get here. I would like a morning pop to be sold into. That'd be the best thing, I think. Easiest trade for the day if they do that. And I'll be looking for it either where we are now. If we start losing this shelf 400, there's a 100-point move. If we lose 300s, we trade right back into these 100s. And if they want to do a morning shove and they're aggressive with it, we can come right up to 600. It's not out of the question. We'll have to see what they're going to do out the gate. I would imagine there'd be some fear. I know everyone will be like, well, we've sold off lots. We have, but the cash market is only just about to open in the next 25 seconds. So you got to think, if you're coming to your desk and you haven't been able to get out and you're retail, you might well be about to see big red on your screen and puking it out. All right. Here we go, folks. Here's the open. Nice and cautious here, because this is going to be a very fast moving tape today. All right. You are not going to need a lot of size. So please, very, very cautious here. All right. It's that first look into towards the 500s. Jeez Louise, look at these orders. Look at these orders. 595 going to be pretty key on the QQQ. And this is all about, do they want to fill this whole gap, or is this going to be a little poke in? All right, is this going to be a little poke in and fail, or are they coming up for previous week value area low? At the moment, very squeezy. It is impressive. The bid back has been the same the last few weeks, hasn't it? The bid back, and I keep talking about this, the bid back in bear markets can be very, very aggressive. People don't seem to understand that. It might be one of the first times you've traded in a market that operates this way. They can be very, very aggressive, the bid backs, because shorts tend to get very, very stuck at low pivot points. Okay, there's a move into 520s, failing 520s for now. Bid's trying to step in here at 500s. And if they hold 500s, they're going to look for this shift all the way up to 6s. If they lose the 5s, we're going to come back and test 4s pretty quickly. Those were big, big buyers off the open. So we're watching those. We had a 225 lot at 450 and 177 lot at 470. So I'm just going to let this settle down. I'd like a push to fail off the open, but we're going to have to trade under some of that big size that came in. So good hold so far. If they reject 500s, it'd be interesting. That's where the seller came in. Very fast moving tape here, folks. We can jump like that. Be very, very careful. I hope we don't go sideways all day after a huge gap down and sell and then a huge bid back up. You've got 500 points to play here. Let's hope we play in more than 100-point range today. Let's get some volume on here. I'm watching these areas where the buyers came in this morning, 470s and 450s. If we don't protect that, then I expect a flush. So here's the 470 check. All right, putting a little piece on if we start rejecting 86s now. There's the morning squeeze out. And if we stay heavy here, and we're going to come and check now for the 450s. Oh, don't flush it all without me. Here's the check of 450s. So they are trying to bid around here. I'm going to watch 480s now. Any sell in front of 480s, even 460s, we put a little shelf in, but I want to see 480s if we sort of test that and fail, or if we test and reclaim. Watching now to see if we can get a piece on this. If we test and fail, here's the 80 test. All right, a little piece on this. I'm not going to give it much room here because I don't want to get squeezed out. If they reclaim 80s, they're going to go 500s very quickly. The short versus 80s right now. Do they want to go 500s? Nice rejection there on that first move. BI is coming back in. Very, very small size here. You do not need size on this move. It's just my first attempt here. I'm going to be very careful. If they reclaim and they go 500s, we go 6s very quick, right? Dancing around these 80s right now. Nice, back under them nicely. Don't want this to reclaim, especially with that last buyer coming in at 87. We've got to see that stay heavy now. Reclaim 87 now, I'll be out. Trying to give it a bit of room, but not too much that I get squeezed. I'm testing this shelf here. So 87 to 96s. No, I think they're looking to fill these orders above now to 525. We'll just have to see here. They're not closing over 80s yet, though. Staying heavy. They've got to come back under 50s. If we get under 50s in New York Open, I'll start feeling a bit better about this and adding some size in. Otherwise, that 500 is still up there for that whole number. Please don't go into a small rotation today, folks. Come on, market makers. You've had 500 points down, 500 points up. Don't do this. I don't mind if you want to squeeze up higher, but let's not sit in a tight range today, eh? Here we go. There we go. All right, testing this player at 50s again. This is key, really, this player at 50s. If we get under that, I think the wash is coming. And I'll start adding under 30s here. Here's the New York Open. Oh, these are all going to be off, aren't they? I've just realised that because of the time change. Hang on. 4, right? Is that right? There we go. Sorry, folks. Yeah, if you're using the flow zones, you have to change UTC -4 now because the clock's changed over the weekend. All right, watching this New York Open. Still not paying myself. I'm only in small size here just to position in case we're ready to let go of this whole thing. I'll add, if I start seeing us staying heavy under 30s, I'll consider starting to add into this. This is the New York Open. Starting to see some sellers come in here, and I think we might be able to get some swings low now. We might come and test these 400s now. So watching for more pops to fail so I can add some size on here. We'll be very careful with position sizing. Here we go. All right, here we come to 400s. This is going to be 100 points if we can get under 400 to start the day. And then we'll see if we can get all the way back to this anchor on POC. So this would be my targets here. So ideally, right, we were looking for pops to fail this morning. Big squeeze to fail. There it came. Ideally, we're looking to stay heavy here and rotate to this. And we're going to take some profits down here. We're going to respect this level here, which is our current week as of the Sunday print value area high. But I think we can move right back down into this and maybe let go. So under 400 would be really nice. You can take some profits here if you want. You're up pretty big here already, but I'm looking for that move lower. This is the anchored view up off the low, Globex, all these key levels here. And where's our point of control right now? 400 is 409. Okay, POC's here. So we've got to get under this developing POC for this move. So we're at a sensitive area actually, but I think we should see some weakness. But you can pay yourself along the way. And if we let go of this shelf higher time frame, I expect us to move into 350s fairly swiftly. Just looking at the hourly and the developing chart, so I expect us to move into 350s if we let go of this level. I can show you what I'm looking for. Right, on this hourly, we can see this is the developing profile. This is the thick level. Right, if we let go of this and the bottom of this, this is 350s, and then this is the anchor off the low. So we can revisit 33s, but this is the point that I'm looking for. Looking for that move into 272s. And if we are backside under that, it would be really fun, but definitely pay myself some into that. Here we come, folks. Starting to work out now. Nice. So we want a break under 400s and continued weakness under that, ideally. Am I in the trade? Yes, I've said it numerous times. Short versus 480s. All right, we were looking for the opening drive, pop to fail, playing the backside, short versus 480s. All right. Here we come. Really nice, really nice. So remember, we'd love to take out this shelf down here towards 450, 350. So you can pay yourself into 350, 330. And what's this big no? 3. And let's mark this out so we don't forget it, because I'm going to need to see it on the other time frame. This guy here. All right. Really good. Here we come. So trend line here, actually, from the way up. See if we move under this trend line. I really want to move under this grey box. That's where all the fun will start. Would I short now? Probably not. I'd probably wait for a retest. So if they can't squeeze back up, I'd wait for this kind of move here. You don't want to get short in the lows for them to bid back up. We're right on the trend line. All right, so just be aware of this. Like, if we were to do a very basic trend line here off these lows, we are right on it right now. So you're looking to get under that grey box and fade the backside of this now. If you're not already in it, where we call the potential trade, right, we're going to take some profit here. If they build out liquidity here and fail it more, that's your next trade location, I would say. Otherwise, you've got to be very, very careful. Remember, this market will move quick. We've talked about it. The moves back up, the moves down are happening very, very quick. Wants the 350 orders? I hope so. That's the plan. That's the plan. I think it might want lower under that, but we're going to at least pay ourselves some into 350s. SPY coming back towards its VWAP, but sorry, ES coming back towards its VWAP. So we're going to watch that on the ES. SPY well under everything, Q's well under everything. Just watch this bid on ES as it comes back into VWAP. Basically, this VWAP here, the 24-hour VWAP. Yep, 360s down here. Not quite hit the 350 and the bottom of the shelf there or thereabouts. There was some big selling down there and it got stuck at 60s, by the way. So you might want to pay yourself. Hello, Bookmap. Can we wake up? Yeah, it was a 78 lot down there. I'd like to see follow through underneath that. They're trying to get aggressive at these lows, these sellers. They might get themselves caught and we go back into range if they don't see follow through under 350. They are piling in here right now. They're looking for that break. They got to get under 360 for them to be comfortable because they've had big orders at 360 and 372 now. Under 360, they're more comfortable and we should see a flush underneath previous week's low. Remember, we can pay ourselves some into this and then ideally we drift down into this grey box underneath the current grey box. So here's the sellers getting stuck at these lows. There's some defending going on down here. I'm telling you, 72.50 and 60 are the levels. That's where the sellers have piled in now. So 72.50 and 60 are the levels. We want to trade below both of those for continuation. Otherwise, they will get squeezed and we can come right back up very, very quickly if they've piled in with too much size. At some point today, they'll go for the gap fill. You're asking a lot. I think you're asking a lot for the market to go for a gap fill in the negative market. I'm not saying it can't do it, but you're asking for this market to trade all the way up to 670s right now. You're asking for another 300-point bid. It's quite a lot. All right, if 70s starts to hold here, you'll see a squeeze back up towards these 400s. If they get through 400s, they're going to test 412 where those sellers last came in. We need to get back under 70s for these sellers to stay in the money. So here's the 70s check. They've got to stay heavy here, and then they've got to get heavy under 60s, and then we can see more follow through. I'm still in this, still holding right now, looking for this next move, right? I'm looking for them to build liquidity here and do this move down here. That's what I'd like to see. But remember, we're short from 80s. We're short from up here, all right? We're already up over 100 points here, folks. But if we can get into this, this will be a 200-point trade. And I'll cover a big chunk down there. And then I'll just hold in case we melt this whole thing back. No, market did not. I'm not going to read questions. I'm worried for people coming in saying that. Genuinely worried about the lack of preparation that you would have in a market. I need to stay focused today. Not losing my focus like Friday, arguing with people. We had the exact move we talked about. It just took until the end of day on Friday and the gap down came on Sunday. But you can see why I was bearish on this market. All right, ES getting a little bit closer. So that VWAP level 650 on ES. Here we go, folks. Here's the first break. All right, so let's see now. VWAP coming up on ES 650 is the level. You want to be careful of that. Ideally, we can get down into this. This is what I'd like to see. But if we go under this grey box and reclaim this grey box, we want to be careful because this is the edge of range. More selling coming in here at 50s, getting caught. So 72 lot just got caught there. Look at this squeeze straight back up. Look at that. Look how fast these moves are at the bottom of the ranges. This is what I was talking about. I have to be very, very careful in these markets. They are trying to not let go of this range. We are still bearish. This is a squeeze back after some covering. This is what happens when shorts pile in for the break. Everyone can see this right now. This is the edge of a range, right? They are piling in short here, trying to look for this move. This is why we've positioned here. If they pile in too hard, they get squeezed back out, and then we can come back for it in a second attempt. But this is why you have to be careful with your sizing today. Right, this is a big move straight back upside. What's that? It's like a 70, 80 point candle in a matter of seconds. I know it's a 1 minute bar, but it happens in a matter of seconds. Right back up to POC. Yes, it's the previous week low, this green line. It's also ES VWAP. It's also lower time frame algo. It's also now your opening range low. So lots of things there. It's the edge of range. I still expect this market to trade lower. Right, nothing's changed for me. Same levels, 70s, 60s, and 50s are now the 3 points that sellers piled in. Once we move under that, we'll see continuation lower. If we can move under that, I should say. If we can move under that, we'll see continuation lower. I said, there we go. So you entered a big unit and it shot up. Well, that's because you're an idiot. I said, there we go, on us being short from up here. I did not say, there we go, as in, oh, full port yourself down here when we've moved 100 plus points off where we entered. That's your inability to read the market, not mine, my friend. Do I say there's the toilet and you just shit in your pants straight away, or do you walk to the toilet? Like, come on, mate. Seriously. Seriously. All right, POC here is currently acting as some form of resistance. If we squeeze through that, we're going to test that New York Open again. Treat this seriously, folks. All right, treat this seriously. You better know when the clocks go forward or back. You better know while we're moving overnight. You better understand the macro environment. You better understand volume. You better understand the key levels. You better understand a break and retest. You better understand all these models. Because if you're just here clicking buttons, remember, the other side of the trade is some of the most intelligent minds in the world, right? Literally, it's a game, right? You're playing chess against some of the other most intelligent people in the world. So if you don't know even what game you're playing right now, you're going to get murdered. Absolutely murdered, all right? That's the game. All right, big sellers trying currently to defend 400s again. Let's see. I want to see us move under 70s here. So the range now can be 70s to 400. Really good sell off that VPOC. All right, so let's see. We've got to get under 70s and under 50s now. I'm still in the sell. I'm still looking for continuation lower. My entry, remember, is still all the way up towards 470s, 480s. Really strong sell there. Really good action coming in here. So we're going to test these 50s. Let's see if we break this time. It's good momentum here. They're trying to defend these 50s. I'd say the next pop, if it fails 70s, we look good for more downside pressure to the next grey box down here. Here's the pop towards 70s. We'd like them to sell this, so we don't really want them to let this back up to 400s on a revisit. We'd like them to stay heavy here into 70s, really. It's not bad, and peeked through a little bit, which is to be expected given the ATR right now. which is currently at 57 points per M1 candle. Let's see if we break these lows. If we break these lows, I'm looking for the low 300s. Here we go. Really nice. Let's see follow through now. Want to see 50s stay heavy on any retest. Don't want to reclaim here. 50s to 70s needs to be sold, and then we should go 300. So buyers desperate to soak this level right now. 50s to 70s is the 70s look. They need to resell this, and then we should go 300. There we come. Beautiful. The 30s is the anchored VWAP off the low, by the way. This white line is your anchored VWAP off the overnight low. I just want one more snap here. It would be really good. Just to move down into 290s, 300s would be really good. I'm not going to be greedy, though. I'll pay myself on this way here because we've just broken that range. I would really like this to stay heavy. Yes, right at VWAP, need to be aware of that as well. Come on. Come and give me some fills down in 300 and 290s. Come on. Got to watch these 50s. This is where seller keeps piling in at 50s. Big delta outlier there. I'd say reclaim a 70s. I might want to think about trimming a lot more of my size and then wait. But I really want this to come down to 300 and 290s. Reclaim a 70s. I'll be careful here with my sizing. They can trade this right the way back up if they want. So I want to be careful. I'm still bearish, but I want to be careful on this edge, right? They need to stay heavy. Really, I want them to stay heavy versus these nodes, right? Really, I'm looking for this move here, right? Any reclaim up here and hold, I will cut. We can always have another look at it afterwards, but I think we can come down into here. Then under that grey box, the fun starts. Under that grey box, we get very thin. It would be like 195, 200s. In fact, let me just draw a few of these out. It's very thin. So under these, we have some levels to attack lower. It just depends whether they're willing to let this go or not, or if they're just going to defend and hold all day. Still looking for 290s, 300s ideally for a cover. I want to see a break below now because we keep piling in sell side here. We've got to see follow through now. Lovely. Come on. 30 more points will do it for me to get something off. Really good. Big seller coming in. Boom. There we go. Great. Might have to pay myself a little bit into this low. I'm still expecting lower, but I've got to be smart given the size of that sell, which they're trying to absorb into 20s. Okay, so now we can stay heavy versus 50s. We can hold on to this. So that's the level. Oh, tested 50s very, very quick. I'm glad I paid myself there in that last sell. The grey boxes are value. They're just volume, not value. They're volume areas from overnight. Waiting for to get a message from my dad. He's going to wake up and be like, I fucking told you it was a sell. Yeah, you did. And I told you you would have got squeezed out, which you would have. He's just like me. He's been looking for this same move for ages. And I think he wanted to take puts. He would have been right. No, he probably took them. All right, here we go. Come on, break this value area low on the day. Looking for a move under 320s. This is where we keep getting a little stuck here. I'm looking for 320s and under. Here we come. Come on, baby. Let's go 300s. Let's go VWAP. And let's go grey box. I want to get a bit more size off down there. They're coming in again, selling. I actually have a grey box here on NinjaTrader. So these have not quite lined up, these areas. There is a grey box here that we just tagged on NinjaTrader into 315s. There's the squeeze off it. Okay, that might be it. sure this is accurate. There we go. So violent rip back up. So here's a move back to fours. Out of this now, folks, and I'll look for a re-add if we start to push and fail. We're right into that level 400. That's a big whole number. I'll see if I can re-add now. Glad I paid myself some into those 20s. Use this level for a second. Clean this chart up a little bit here. So we're now trapped between the two VWAPs. ES also doing the same move, right? So ES came under the 24-hour VWAP, coming back up to the New York VWAP to see if they sell that or not. Give you a readout on the MAG, which we haven't done today. Tesla 3.21% down, Nvidia 0.5% down, Microsoft 0.84% down, Meta 2.53% down, Google 1% down, Amazon 1.40% down, Apple 0.65% down on the day. Let's have a little look out for if we have anything relative strength here. Some of the Chinese ADRs, by the looks of it, NEO and stuff like that, a bit of relative strength. AVGO, what are you? Biotech finding a bit of a bid today. It looks like the ETF and biotech's up. IBIT, obviously, and well, that's slightly odd to see that. REN, didn't they do an offering last week? Surprised to see that, unless I got that wrong. Might have made that up in my head. I'm sure they did an offering or announced that they were going to do it at the market offering. Okay, still chopping around here, so building out new liquidity. Biggest size willing to stop, I'd be willing to do. But depends on what move I'm looking for, my friend. If I was convinced of a 300, 400 point lower, I'd be willing to do a 100 point stop in this market. And you might be like, well, that's too much. Well, it's not really, given that our average ATR right now is 58 points. That's two M1 candles. I mean, your stop needs to be as big as the market needs it to be. It's quite simply, that's what it is. Whatever size your stop needs to be, that's what size it needs to be. And then the question then is, can you position for that? You know, are you willing to do, let's say, one micro 100 point stop, $200? Like, are you okay with that? Looking for a 200 to 300 point move, which will pay you 400 to 600, right? Yeah. I mean, your stop needs, guys, your stop cannot be what you want. It has to be what the market dictates. Right, so we're doing this VWAP to VWAP kind of thing right now. We're doing the same on ES, folks. Yeah, for those people that are like, I want an 8-tick stop and an 8-point profit. Well, you press market on and you're out instantly. And it's just a fucking gamble which way it is. That's how quickly this market's working. I'm trading on the same strategy as Fabio. It's just order flow. It's not like, it's just very, I don't know, maybe simple principles is the wrong way to put it. It is really simple. It's about who's trapped and where they're trapped. That's how the market moves. It's just order flow. It's not like that he owns the strategy or I own the strategy or anyone else. Like, you can't rename this and rehash it. It's literally the auction of what's happening. That's all it is. All right, some strong sellers trying to come in here again, seeing some absorption down here. The book is completely stacked, both sides now, interestingly. Bit of a battle going on here. Sellers keep trying to sell these 60s. Where was that player earlier this morning? It was 70s, wasn't it? Yeah, 70s, which is now VPOC. 70s is a big level. So I'll tell you where the sellers have come in today. They've come in at 395, 370 and 350. All right, 395, which is up here, 370 and 350. They need to get under those levels. I'll tell you, the auction at the low looks pretty good at the moment. All right, so I'd say basically everything under 330 is sell side, and so far that's starting to be protected. It's looking a bit messy on here, isn't it? So we had these big buys this morning squeeze us out. Right, big buys this morning squeeze us out. They failed. Sellers are coming in down here trying to force this collapse. All right, see how they're selling the lows. So we're getting some absorption here. I'd like to see this move under their levels now if I'm going to get a re-entry. Otherwise, we're just going to chop around in a 200-ish point range for the day, which is not ideal. Really is not ideal. Inverse head and shoulders. I mean, on a 1 minute chart, you could argue that, yeah. But on a higher time frame chart, you're in a sell. Remember, do not get zoomed in to the 1 minute chart. All right, higher time frame matters far more than your 1 minute. You really, the easier trades. It's why I ignored the buys last week. The easier trades are when you're looking for what the higher time frame is likely to do and finding the entry on the lower time frame. They don't always make it easy for us, though. Curious if the market reacts, or the market will react to Trump. It will. Where's oil right now? 100 even. CL. I'm not going to answer any more questions for a bit, guys. Some of you are asking very basic questions. Go on my channel, learn, read what's being written to you by Nightbot on how I trade, what the boxes are, what everything is. Please. Not going to get agitated. I'm definitely not going to say the same thing here over and over again. So squeezing back up. I'm not interested in the longs. I'm going to let it do whatever it is it wants to do. Really hope we don't go in a range today, but it's starting to look more and more probable at this point in time. Big rejection up there. Jeez Louise. Huge rejection. Man, it's quick moves. Quick moves. Can't do much with this. Can he do much with this right now? Chopping in a range. We'll just wait for it to calm down a bit, I think. Right back up towards where we got entered in originally. What's going on? And you're just in a range. You're in a liquidity building stage. This is what happens. I told you at the beginning of the day. Expect violent moves. You have VIX basing over 30. Like, this is normal, guys, in markets like this. You might be like, it's not normal. It is. This is absolutely normal. I'd be interested if we fail this again. Just have to be careful at this point. Still think there's a move down into here and down and let go of the whole thing. It just depends if they're going to give us a setup now. Can we get a setup? Is now the question. Had one almost 200 point here to start the day. Seeing compression here, breakout, back into the other side where they got stuck, and we're just doing the VWAP kind of dance at the moment. So some bid support still here at 60s. Like I said, I think we can flush here lower. It's just I need to see this build out liquidity now. That's a nice sort of bull trap, right, above these swing points and failure. I need to see this build out and do this now if I'm going to get an entry. I can't see how else I'm going to find an entry model at this point. It's going to be too hard to get an entry model if they can't do that. Remember, we have found a bid off the anchor VWAP off the lows. We need to be like cognizant of that. Buyers off those lows are currently trying to step in here and protect it. Sellers trying to come in here. Remember, we're under that 70 level. That 70 level is massive. Oh, Ninja Trader's frozen on me. Wakey, wakey. Wakey, wakey, Ninja. There we go. All right, so I'm watching 70s and 94s again. 94, 95s where they last sold. Yes, just doing that dance between the two VWAPs. And this is going to get very hard to trade if we're going to stay in this kind of sloppy range in here. Very, very hard. I'm not going to be able to get many more trades if they're going to pin this all day, which will be upsetting given the size of the move that they've done overnight. But at least we got a piece today. But let's hope we can move outside of this range. So watching here for that move to 95. Let's see how they act at 95. So they squeeze over 95s, they're going to go straight back to full 30s. If they reject 95s and they can come back under 70s, then there's a wash under 50s, I think. But this is the key level. They will just violently chop this around now and build out liquidity for the move that they want to do later. There's the 95 check there or thereabouts, and then the 70 check instantly. And that's your range that we're trading between. And once we get under 50s, they will accelerate this potentially. So if you're looking for the short, those are your levels. I'll be looking to see if we stay heavy under 50s. Cognizant of that low of day auction, which looks pretty good right now. Extreme chop here. ES right at VWAP again, so another VWAP dance from ES. We'll see a move one way or another. I don't think they can pin it in this tighter range for too long, given the size of the move last night. Remember, the main move is downside pressure right now. Here's the move towards 50s. I will be watching this now. Break under 50s and staying heavy, I'm going to be in like this. All right, let's see then. We're going to have one more trade here for downside. Back towards those low 300s and under maybe now. Got to stay heavy versus, what's this level here? 70s. Nice. So I want all pops to 50s and 70s to be sold now. Don't want this low of day to hold. We need to sell straight under that. Because it is a good auction, so I'm aware of it. Bang, here we go. Come on. Here come the sellers. They got to get under. They need a new low of day here. Because this auction at the low is pretty good from this morning. So they need to break low of day, otherwise it would be a failure to break lower. I think under this grey box we can really start motoring. So is the retest of 50s and 70s. This needs to stay heavy. A little bit of absorption from sellers there. This doesn't look that heavy at the moment though. I need them to step back on the gas and soon. Bid support coming in at 35, 25s, 10s and 300s. I want all of that to be taken out. Here's a retest of 50s again. They can't get through 50s to 70s so far, which is a good sign. And now we just want a reflush. We've got to break this last low at 20s and 13s. It's just got to give us a big downside candle here and just come and clean out all the liquidity. Here we come. Come on, let's see some follow through. Don't get stuck here. Got orders down here to fill. ES really good. New low of day on ES. Come on, NQ. Come on, NQ. Please don't give me divergence here. Come on, NQ. Do the move for me. 300 and under. Let's go. Come on, NQ. Day 1 million trading this thing when it just won't do the move. Come on. ES so good. It's already done it. I'm very, very aware of that. I'd really like to come down and take this level out here and then get some follow through because the sellers keep piling in here. So the longer we're here without moving lower, the more uncomfortable I feel. Come on, 15s and 300s. Come and fill them. Got someone playing on the tape now. First time I've seen it today for the last 5 minutes. There's some bid playing around on the tape, being a bit of a moron. Look, he's on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off for the last 2 minutes. I don't know what he's playing at. Squeeze back out. All right, cut that. Have one more attempt at it, and then if we don't do it, I'll cut it. The whole thing for the day. Won't have one more go at it. So that's a 70 check. Trimmed most of my size there. I've got a tiny piece back on, but that's it. Don't want to afford. I can't risk a big squeeze out. If we stay heavy under 50s, it's good. The buyer just came in there at 55. There is someone underneath price starting to act a bit of a twat, though. If you look at Bookmap above me, he's starting to be a bit of a cretin. Down between 30 and 10. I don't know what he's playing at. He's on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, like literally in nanoseconds. So it's an algo trying to bid up, I guess. There's no humans that quick. So they're coming to clean this liquidity out towards 10. So if we break above 70s, I'll cut this whole position. I'll cut most of it, put a little piece back on in case. And I'll cut the whole position above 70s in case they want to come back up for that 95 and 10s. And this range is looking worse and worse. But we need to stay heavy here, right? They have to stay heavy here, which they're not doing. They just had the chance to break lower like ES did. We had divergence there. They should have completed this move. They haven't. ES yet again not completing a move. Sorry, NQ yet again not completing a move when ES does. Very annoying NQ at the moment. Thanks, Eddie. Very kind of you. So I won't be re-looking at this unless I see failures under 50s now. They're starting to try and absorb versus 50s. I think there's a flush in this market. It's just I'm very surprised that these guys are willing to bid at the edge of this range so much on this anchored view up off the low. Thought they would have rotated at least on this last move or here to clean this out, and then they can look for that bid back up. I'm surprised we haven't come into here yet. Might still do it, but ES, by the way, has come into here and under. It's already done it. ES, when we were looking for the short here for there, ES came under, cleaned all of this out, did a very nice move. So ES has done the move. So we have had divergence. So ES has come right under, cleaned out low of day. NQ just a fucking pain in the ass again. Another day where NQ just wants to act a cretin. Just like Friday. Bid all day long just to do the move that it should have done right in the last 20 minutes. I don't think the orange man is having folks manipulate this. Oh, yeah, I mean, of course he is. Like, absolutely, he is. I know Trump's speaking later, guys. I know, but it's quite a lot later. Oh, this is starting to be dangerous where we're going to go in a range all day, which is pretty upsetting given the size of the move overnight downside and the size of the move overnight back upside, and we're going to just get stuck in a range. That's going to be pretty upsetting here. Really like this market to move away from these levels. All right, higher time frame. We need to move away from this garbage that we've done overnight. Right, this is what overnight got. Gap, fade, walk back. This is what we've had in New York. Fun, eh? This is fun. I know what I'd rather trade, that or that. This, Alex's worst nightmare, that. But hey, can only trade what the market gives us. QQQ rejecting VWAP here, potentially. We're just stuck in no man's land, even on the options. 595 is clearly a wall, but we can't retest 590. We're just stuck in the midpoint. We're in a range. Can't get below the 15-minute orb. We're literally in a chop fest range. I cannot believe we are doing this. After what I can believe, but I don't want to believe we're doing this. We're back to VWAP, and now we've got all this liquidity that can support this bid now if they want to like turn it on upside. I don't know, which would be really impressive. Like, you got the cojones to buy this at this point of time. Like, whoa. I don't. Not on a day one after a flush like that. We haven't even retested those lows to know it holds a bid. The fact that they're bidding here is, in my mind, a psychopath move, but I definitely wouldn't be swing long right now. We haven't reclaimed the higher time frame range and we haven't retested the lows, but people seem to be piling in here for some reason. Seemed like a nutty idea to me. Just right at VPOC, right between the two VWAPs. No follow through either way. There's a buyer trying to step in here at 400 is amazing. They look like want to clear out all the way up to 450. They keep adding liquidity now all the way up to 450 after this last sell. They want to come and rebalance this candle by the looks of it. Fucking psychos if they do. Here comes the sellers again. There's VPOC. So the sellers don't want it up to 450, but there are some passive people just sat up there. All right, this is interesting me, this candle now. This is aggressive. I'm going to watch 350 again. 370 is 350. I'm watching the same levels. Nothing's changed for me. I'm going to watch these same levels. 350, 370. Those are the levels. We just absorbed 350 again. We're straight back to 370. They need to resell this and come under 50s, and I'm interested. If they absorb this and we go right the way back up, I'm starting to lose interest to the point where I'm literally going to step away from the screens and get a coffee. How are gold and Bitcoin getting a bid? Well, if you understand why we're really in Iran, that's why. If you understand the petrodollar, you'll understand the risk exposure. If you really think the dollar's going to collapse, and that's why we're there, to force Iran to buy back oil, or the other countries to buy back oil using the US dollar to stop it being decimated. If you understand that, and the plasma and the energy flow and all this stuff, if you think it's about regime change and nukes, you're fucking deluded. Don't believe the news. Understand how money moves. It's not what they're saying. It's never what they're fucking saying. Right? The news in America that I've watched the last week plus is some of the biggest propaganda I've ever seen in my life over an event. It's not a tinfoil hat. If you don't understand the petrodollar, mate, I don't know what to do with you. You really think America's in there because they've attacked first because they had intel that Iran was going to attack them after Israel attacked? Do you understand that that's treason? That's a straight war crime if that's their actual reason. You understand that, right? It's absolute bollocks. Right, while this does absolute nonsense, I'm going to get a reload of my coffee. I'll be right back. All right, any changes here? Nope. All right, right back up to the upside. So it's starting to hold bids here, and this node has been developed overnight, and you can see this choppy range. So I'm less and less interested in playing this market at the moment. All the time we're stuck over this, all right, because maybe they want to do this. This is asking an awful lot of this market, but the fact that we're not breaking down under here is somewhat dangerous. It is somewhat dangerous. There's no other way to put it. I've refused to be a buyer of this market. It's just no way I'm doing that. Not going to happen. The violent chop continues. Stuck in this range until 8 to 9:30. Well, I don't know what that means because it's currently 10:30, mate. So I don't know what time zone you're in. Are they going to reflush this whole thing now? Back to these 400s and under. They're going to check 70s if they go under. And if they come under 70s, we're going to check 50s, right? Same kind of story. Liquidity both sides of the tape again. Bearish overall. It's just, can we move out of this range? And the longer that the shorts don't get the breakdown, the more the squeeze becomes available. I still think there's a sell coming. It's just like if and when they're ready for it. So they're starting to hold the top of this range now. So we can be very careful of this sort of level here where they can squeeze out. I really need to see it move under 70s for me to have another thought process for a trade short, unless we squeeze right up. Like, I'm also be willing if we squeeze out the whole thing. I'm also willing to play that at that point. Watching this range here as we dance. If they fail this and come under 70s, it would be really fun. And if they squeeze out, I doubt they do the fill, but in case they went for 600s, I'd be willing to reshort up at 600s if they did that kind of move. Have I taken any trades? Yeah, we got this sell here, Raf. We took this sell from 80s. This sell down here. We got this whole move. Yes, back to VWAP. Nvidia gone red to green. Nvidia gone red to green. We're still underneath this New York Open. We just bounced. Bounced caught in this sort of bid zone here. Same bid zone we had overnight, right? So the developing week profile, this is it. We're thin above, and there is argument for a move to 600 if they really wanted to back test up here. It's asking an awful lot of the market. Initial balance now set, and we're right in the midpoint of the IB as well. So it's a pretty ugly day so far. So I'd say that first trade we got is probably trade of the day so far, folks. New York Open rejecting there on that last move to 30s. They are still adding liquidity higher right now. Crazy, you made $700 from 2 markets. What I'm saying, man, the ATR is so big in this market, you do not need size. You do not need size in this market right now. So back to that New York Open again. There's an argument for them to squeeze out through the highs here. But there's an argument both ways. Look, we're setting higher lows and lower highs on swing points. It's very ugly. All right, just think about this. This is ugly. There's an argument to come and clean this out and get up here. There's an argument to clean this out and come down here. This is your chop vest. Chop and slop. We can't do anything with this. Once we move away from this, folks, we'll have a trade, I promise you. But we can't do anything with this right now. Well, not for me anyway. I don't like trading rotation like this. Too dangerous in my mind. Once we move away from it, we can have some fun. Somewhat surprised there hasn't been a little bit more of a sell this morning, a bit more of a panic. So maybe they need to bid it up, trap some buys in before they do it. And I'm not looking for much, just a resell into a key area. If we think about what we've done overnight, right, everyone that's like, oh, we're uber bullish now. No, we've not reclaimed this range. We're not bullish until we reclaim this range here. All right, that would be a look below and fail then. All right, but at the moment, it might be that they want to price up and sell it. I am surprised that they've not at least retested this. So maybe they need to do this to retest it, but I'm surprised they've not retested the low side of this range. The fact that we're chopping here makes it more and more dangerous, both sides, for the rotation. So the squeeze out and sell becomes available, the drift down and then bid becomes available. I will not be bullish until we reclaim this 4-week balance range. All right, if we just zoom out of here, sorry, it's probably going to be easier for me to show it on an hourly, isn't it? This here, all right, this is all your volume which is currently trapped. So it's more than week. One week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. All right, 5 weeks of volume stuck in there. I expect them to sell that. All right, if they reclaim it, then it's a look below and fail, and I expect them to bid right back up to the other side. All right, and I'm willing to play that if we reclaim it and hold. But until that point, the main move I'm looking for is that. All right, that's the main move I'm looking for. Coming out of this, I'm expecting that to be sold. And I will change my mind if we start to reclaim. And that's fine. I'm happy to change my mind if we reclaim. To give you an idea of why I'm focused short side today. And every day until we reclaim, really. All right, guys, I'm going to say this once. I'm going to say it once only. The clock's changed. Daylight savings in America. You need to be aware of the days that that happens if you're not trading in America and you're trading the American market. That's all I'm going to say. Stream didn't start early. You've started late. All right? All of you guys being like, why has it started early? You've started late. The clock's changed. Please be prepared when you come to the markets. Starting to get stuck up here at value area high. No acceptance over value area high yet. And that value area high is also the New York Open. We are already over the New York Open and now over both VWAPs on the ES, which is also looking awful. It's also a series of lower highs and higher lows on the 5-minute bar. It's terrible. They're trying to bid this up right now. This is a story of the tape the last few weeks. Very kind again, Jay Ventura. I think that's every day. Super kind. It's a story of the tape, how these passive sellers just sit up there, just literally dangling for the market to come up and fill them. They've done that the last few weeks. It gets pretty boring to watch. The lack of ambition and follow through in this market. They just do it overnight, and then the next day we just go into grind, and then overnight, and then next day grind. And I'm getting pretty bored of it, if I'm really honest with you. It's starting to be pretty exhaustive that they just do the moves in Globex. And everyone said, well, you should trade Globex. Well, you tried living in Los Angeles and trading Globex. Good luck with that. All right, we're back into this area where these big buyers came in this morning. And if we get through this area, those buyers will be comfortable. But I would say they came in at 70 and 40, 50s, 70s and 50s is the level. So if they bid 70s and 50s, they are in the money. And we're not talking about small size. We're talking about like 400 lot buyers off the open this push this morning. Still, they're adding liquidity higher to be cleared out. It's still a game. Big games being played on the tape today. Maybe the drift's coming now. Yeah, New York's been a slugfest for weeks now. But like I said, there is reason to come up here and then resell. So, maybe they're going to do that. Somewhat surprised, given the size of the move off the 400s, and we're 500 points off the overnight low, and we've done nothing really. We're starting to curl now, and there's a good argument that it might want to come all the way up here now, which will be gross, but there's an argument that it might want to do that, so we have to acknowledge that argument. Especially with these players on the books being daft buggers above us. Just adding higher and higher and higher and higher, saying, come and fill me here, come and fill me here, come and fill me here. So there becomes more and more reason for it to do it. You hate this market so much, Joe? Yeah, I mean, I'm not loving it, I'll be honest. I really liked the start of the year, but the last few weeks, for me, as someone who likes playing continuation, has been awful, because every continuation has happened when I've been asleep. You guys will all know, who are regulars here, the move to 400 to 24K is something I've been looking for the whole time. The fact that they did it in Globex, I mean, it just tells me the kind of people in charge of this right now. They're absolute assholes. They do the obvious move in the most unobvious way. Well, it's actually not unobvious. It's actually obvious that they were going to do it because they've done it so many times. But unless you're positioned for a swing, they make it very hard to grab. And now I get served this. I mean, seriously? Seriously? You're going to give me my worst nightmare after the most beautiful moves down and up overnight? You're going to serve me my worst nightmare? Look at them, still adding liquidity above. These guys are being assholes at this point. Nvidia 0.5% up. I mean, it's actually bonkers. They're going to come back to these 70s and 50s, or we're just going to bid up all day now? Oh my god, all this liquidity above us just keeps being added and added and added for the drift. I'm not buying this, so if they bid it, they'll bid it without me. I'm not a buyer today. I'm not a buyer in this market today. Maybe if we come back down towards 24,000, 24,100 and hold a bid, maybe I'm a buyer down there, but certainly not. I'm not a buyer up here. No chance. They're starting to hold a bid now around these 70s and 50s that they bought this morning on the opening drive. So these buyers now, if they haven't stopped out, they're starting to be in the money. And if we get a break above 25,000, there's the argument for 25,000, sorry, 24,500. There's the argument for this move to 600, previous week value area low, to retest that level, which will be our SBR level. I'm very surprised that they want to do that. I'm very surprised that they want to do that. I think bears will be sitting there, but I think they should have really done a better job of defending this morning's session. And a break up there will be problematic for this market. VIX has now closed its gap, by the way. IB to VWAP. I mean, we're not at IB yet, so hard to say. I just think it's very choppy here, folks. This is a very dangerous market that we're setting up here. They can violently move both directions at the moment. Very, very violently move both directions. It's very, very dangerous. These 70s and 50s are the level, right, from this morning. Right, so in here at 70s, I'll try and mark it out for you. 70 and 50. All right, this in here was 400 lot aggressive buyer. All right, so he's now comfortable. All right, so if they keep bidding this is going to look more like one of these, isn't it? To come up there. That's what it feels like at the moment. It's where they're trying to go at the moment. They're trying to flip this and use it as support now. If they get all the way up here, I fucking give up on this market. Honestly, that would be like another day. Just like Friday, every chance they have after leaving liquidity, we just do a slow grind all the way up. Remember Friday? Up to this level, bang. Like, it's fucking stupid at this point. You can't do anything with it. I certainly wasn't going to sit here all day on Friday for that. $600s, previous week value very low. It's the edge of the range. So it's where they're trying to go by the looks of it. But there's no way I'm playing long up into that. So either they break down or they squeeze up there and I'll think about a short up there. I'm not doing anything else. It's looking worse and worse by the second. The more I look at this chart, the more I hate it. Adding more and more liquidity above, just trying to like slowly drag this market higher, probably just to absolutely dunk it on everyone's face. Oh my God. We're going nowhere, folks. We're going nowhere. 161 points higher and they'll close the gap. Crazy. Can't believe I'm saying that, but possible. Here they go. It's the IB high breakout. Market's just being complete stupidity at this point. Absolute stupidity at this point. There's no other way of talking about this market. Oh, to be a London and Asia trader. Told me what? That they're going for gap fill. I mean, are you like the guy from the other week? Like, whoopie fucking do. Like, that's cool. I love it. I love. Told ya. Just the egos, man. It's wild. Well done. You correctly guessed that in a 50-50 chance of it going gap fill and coming down here, you correctly guessed that it's here. It's not up at gap fill yet. So what's your told ya? And it's fucking wild. What have you achieved with your told ya? Are you long from down here? Are you covering up there? What happens if it doesn't get there? Do I go told you it didn't get there? Like, what's the point? What are you achieving? Egos, man. I don't get it. All right, last seller came in at 40, still being absorbed. ES still yet to break out, by the way. Code for TPT, flow zone. Any suggestions? No suggestions right now. Like I said, this at this point needs to come and revisit. I will not trade until we revisit some of this at this point. I'm not getting long in this market, all right? It is a choice. Let me explain this to you noobs in here. It's a choice what you trade in here. I will wait for this market to print up and have enough bulls trap that I'll get a short in it. And I will consider a long on a full reclaim of value and range. Until then, I'm not considering anything because this is a pullback leg which will probably be sold into. And that has been my choice. Same choice as last week. So all you told you so, whoopee fucking do. Like, we already drew out that this is possible. I don't care that it's coming up here. It doesn't bother me. I'll just wait for it to come up and peak out. No, it's not one pullback. You're fucked. This is the pullback, guys. Oh my God. I'm trying not to get... Right, you guys need to zoom the fuck out, okay? Zoom out. This is the pullback. Here is the leave of balance. This is the pullback. This is the sell opportunity. The sell opportunity goes if we reclaim balance. Please, for God's sake, get out of your 1 minute charts. Please. Please, guys. They're still adding liquidity higher. I've also talked about bear market squeezes to the upside are extremely violent because bears tend to try and short lows for breakdowns. I covered all this morning. Everything we're seeing, even the levels we're going to, we covered this morning. Literally everything we're seeing, we've already covered. Like, there's nothing in here that's surprising. I'm surprised at the strength, but not of the move itself. This is how little I'm surprised about it. This was drawn out for my community. This move here, we can come up and then potentially sell it. I will be long if we reclaim and hold, right? It's not like I'm not prepared for this, guys. For you guys that are like, told you it's doing this, told you. Like, you must think I'm an idiot and I have no idea that it could do this. Like, it's crazy. Come on now. Calm yourselves down. Let go of the ego. Relax yourself. There's no medals for having an ego and being like, I told you. You don't achieve anything. Do I see London and Asian traders having challenges? Well, their only challenge at the moment will be liquidity. All right, still trying to drift to 600. The liquidity is still being added higher and higher and higher, like we've talked about. Someone is attempting to drag this market higher right now. And sellers have come in at 540, 557, 570. Still there's absorption. It's fucking incredible. What's incredible is where the absorption is taking place. AMD now green. So chips all catching a bid. Where's software? Hood's flat. Oracle's still down. Literally nothing to do here. Not for me anyway. You think we'll go green on the day? I mean, that is asking an awful lot. You're asking for a bid over 670s. That's a full fail breakdown lower and a full acceptance higher at that point of a 4-week balance range. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. That's like, to understand what you're saying there, like that's asking a huge amount. All right, remember Friday, Fugazi, sell it. No one wants to hold over the weekend. Gap down, grind back to the sell point. This is our SBR zone, right? This is what we expect. If they don't sell here, then we expect them to sell there. If we reclaim this back into Friday's range, that's fucking impressive on a Monday. It's really impressive to do that on a Monday. I'm not saying it's not possible, but higher time frame, that is a very impressive move on a Monday. That'd be a 700-point move higher off the lows with acceptance up there with no profit taking. That's asking, in my mind, that's asking an awful lot. Yes, going for Globex highs right now. I'm going to build out some volume up here. Still in a drift. They're still offering higher. They keep adding more and more and more. They're trying to pull this up, even now, into 87 and then 600. They are literally offering higher, trying to attract the market higher at this point. So ES almost into its pivot already. Globex and then previous week low is not that much higher for ES, and we'll have a view up there into sort of 716, 715. NQ nowhere near it. Well, actually, that's not fair. It is very close to it. That's not true, but not as close. QQQ's already taken out pre-market highs, coming into previous week low now on the Qs. How much of a boost and squeeze are they going to turn? It might be violent, guys. Like I said, it can be very violent in these markets. I just watch these shelves that they're building out here. You don't believe this pump? Well, I don't know what to say. They're trying to test where we've broken down from. That's what they're trying to do. Yeah, this is previous week's volume profile, right into here. This is the value area low. This is where they're trying to get up into to test it. Alex going through the course, unprofitable for the month. Oh, nice, dude. Nice work. back to the bottom side of this grey box. If we leave this grey box, I mean, it's going to be gross. They might as well come and complete this. But if we leave this grey box and stay heavy, this trade here becomes possible, which we're starting to leave now. Oh, you fucks. All right, well, if we retest and stay heavy, maybe I'm interested, which is kind of hard when they've left low-hanging fruit above. We'll see. We're holding initial balance. We want to be very, very careful. But I'd say if 50s and 65 stay heavy, there's a potential short all the way back down to 500. If they reclaim, we do have low-hanging fruit above all the way up to 610s, remember. So here's the lift into 50s and 65. So that might just be a sweep, but we're going to watch this grey box to see if buyers come in and get caught here, if there's any selling. ES didn't take out Globex high either, so we've left low-hanging fruit above on every index right now. It's hard to trust this short right now, to be honest. Here's a move to 50s and 65s, and let's see if they sell this. This is the short's opportunity here. We've left low-hanging fruit above. It's very risky, but based on volume, there is an opportunity here for a sell. But we've, like I said, we've left all these above, which might want to be filled. This can be a little trap to move higher above initial balance right now. They're still adding liquidity higher. These fucking assholes. They're playing big games here. There you go. They just filled that liquidity. So now they've still got 87,612. So reclaim there. They might want to move higher still. We have to see here if we can move away from this grey box one way or another. Tempted to put a piece on here, but it just feels so risky with how they're moving this book and how they keep adding size higher and how we've not taken out a low-hanging fruit higher yet. Right to the edge of this grey box. If they bid here, we should complete the move higher at this point. I'm not going to look for the longs. I've made that so clear today. I'm not looking for longs. Don't care what it does. Staying with the pro trend. Yeah, there's probably some form of sell up here, but I tell you what, if we move to point of control, you've got a problem. Point of control is way up here, all right? At that point, I would expect the market to find balance in here, and I'd become much more bullish on the market, right? If we reclaim this SBR zone, if we reclaim this and hold it, this becomes much more bullish. On a higher time frame, it becomes a massive look below and fail under range. So sellers really, in my mind, they absolutely have to defend this. They have to defend that. If they don't defend that, they have failed miserably. So watch where this seller came in at 40s. 200 day, I mean, the 200 day got tagged on the Qs. We've been under it on the NQ for a while, mate. But, you know, you have to understand, this is a straight bid up. We've built some liquidity out here, but, like, off these lows, it's not like we've retested this, all right? The best buy will be down here in a hold, okay? Right, you are buying froth right now, right into a supply level where buyers are trapped. It's not a good buy up here. It really is not a good buy up here. That's why I'm going to wait for the short opportunity. We're going to do violent chop now until we get enough liquidity built out, maybe a clear out one side before they do it. It's just looks terrible. It's been like this for a few weeks, and it's going to be like this for a few more weeks until they settle down with this war, because we're having to price in so much stuff now, including being risk off. Yeah, I see that buy at 545. I mean, he absorbed 153 lot, and then he came back in again with 142 lot. We're still under this grey box right now. There's no close over it. We're still under it. And we're in it and around it. We're just chopping around this area, right? There's no change really. Underneath 40, you'll see more weakness if we stay heavy under 40. They've still got liquidity higher to clean out. These guys just keep coming on the book and adding and adding and adding and adding, trying to pull the market up. So much liquidity being added higher right now. Now they've just added into 25s and 40s and 30s and 50s, and they just keep adding higher and higher and higher, trying to attract the market higher for that fill. I don't have a take on algos. I mean, I have no opinion on algos. Like, the best algos would be higher time frame, higher frequency algos. Right, here's the squeeze, trying to fill all that liquidity higher still. And they look at all these blocks being added above and above and above and above. It's fucking crazy, man. If I want to hear a real DJ, okay. All right, buddy. And they're holding this grey block now, and they're going to try and come up here if they can. Look at all this liquidity. Why are they doing that? Because they want to attract the market higher. Is it possible on Bookmap to show the numbers? It probably is. It would clog up my screen. I wouldn't want that. But it probably is possible, yeah. All right, yes, right into overnight highs right now. And if they pop this, they've just got previous week low to attack on ES. There's nothing else left. Oh, market, can you just fucking get on with it at this point? Just do something. This is just rinse, repeat every day. Complete exhaustion for me. Come on. Sellers coming in here at 75s, now coming in at 70s. They're still trying to lift it higher. They want to fill all the way to 600s, but it's starting to get a little stuck here. Look at all these guys above on the tape. Oh, my days. Is anyone else bored of this stuff? Like, I'm so bored of the way this market's moving at the moment. I find it like pretty exhausting to watch. I think the games being played are like just absolutely clear as fucking day insiders. Find it pretty amazing. Like, we've seen some of the biggest trades in the world on before any announcements on oil, on VIX, on the Qs, some of the dark pool orders. It's just a bit naughty. Why are they not swiping more downside liquidity? Why do they need to? They've got reason. They're trying to go high right now. They don't need to come down right now. Like, you gotta understand. Like, shorts were looking. The short this morning that we took, right, was on pops that fail down into this range. Shorts have piled in down here. They've had one more chance to break lower. They failed. All right. So we've started shifting, grind up. Shorts are adding and 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 getting themselves caught. While liquidity is being added higher, trying to drag the market higher. If you look at Bookmap above me, they keep adding liquidity up here. They're trying to attract the market to come and swipe up. They don't need to swipe down yet. They want to come and clean this out. Then maybe they look for that. Maybe they will never look for that. Maybe that this, we come here and they're priced all this in, and maybe Trump's announcement's going to be the war's over. You know, we don't know. But what I can say is this is a squeeze out to back test an SBR level. That's all I know right now. They're looking to back test this to make a decision. That's the only thing I know right now. And if you're short in this and adding and adding and adding or guessing a top, you're going to get clapped, right? Because the flow is bullish. I can see it's bullish. I'm choosing to ignore it because I want to play the pro trend. So I limit my trading to what I think the market want to do. Now, if we come up here and we fail, I'll look for the short. If we come up here and reclaim, there's no more shorts at that point. It means that the market's just very resilient and saying, hey, we're not moving lower. Yeah, there's huge insider going on in this market. I mean, what do you expect? What do you expect? You got a president who launched a fucking Trump coin. Like, what do you expect, guys? What's my Rolex? I'm not wearing a Rolex today. I'm wearing a Tudor Pelagos. Pelagos today. I only have one Rolex. It's a bimetal two-tone Datejust, which was a gift when I got married. All right, they're still trying to lift and lift and lift. You can see the targets. Previous week low, previous week value area low, maybe close the gap if they want to be absolutely bonkers, which at the moment it looks like they want to be bonkers. You mean the daily candle, the wick? Yeah, I mean it's impressive off that anchored VWAP. It is. I mean it came to the exact level that I gave you in the newsletter, literally to the tick. Everyone in Discord caught it. Well, I say everyone. A lot of people in Discord caught it. It's to the tick, to the 24,000, and they drift and drift and drift. So we're coming back for these 600s and 610s, coming all the way back for the 600 and 610s. And if they don't get stuck here, they're going to lift this right the way to 670, which is a phenomenal move. And look at the mag now. Apple trying to go red to green. Google's gone red to green. Nvidia up almost, or it is up 0.75%. I mean, it's very, very, very impressive. The question is, how big are their bollocks? How old am I? I'm 40. Grind and grind and grind and grind. The last big seller came in at 11.04 at 87. So we're around his price right now. He's 100 lot. So we came just short of previous day low there. Still they're adding liquidity higher, guys. I want you to understand that. They're still adding 600, 625, 630, 650, 662s. When they're done with this, they can give the whole thing back. And no, I'm not joking. So it would have to come under this grey box to perk any interest of me. And ideally, it swipes out all the liquidity above first. This reminded me of Friday. Yeah, that's what we were saying. Yeah, it's exactly the same move. Squeeze back up, back test a level, give it all back probably. QQQ just short of that previous week low. Became very, very close there. Watching this grey box. Do they bid this grey box now? And collapse this whole thing under this grey box. It would be much better if they went and took out the low-hanging fruit first. Really would. Where's that big seller? 40s. I need to be aware of this guy at 40s. He got a little bit stuck there at 40s earlier today. Still they're adding liquidity higher. I don't think they're done with this quite yet. It'd have to be a sharp move away from the grey box. And it's pretty annoying that they didn't fill everyone higher at this point. Makes it dangerous to look for the short because they've left low-hanging fruits above. Gives reason to go up still, right? It still has a reason to go higher because they've left low-hanging fruit up there. Oil is selling off, yeah, it is. I mean, it was a huge move, right? It went to what? Was it 112s? I mean, it's still up 8.35%, right? Just like it's still up huge. It was up like 25% or something. Bearish CVD. I mean, yeah, we're still like CVD. Oh, I don't know about that. We're just pinned. I guess you can say there's some passive selling up here, which is unsurprising. No, I'm good. Here they come, trying to fill this guy at 600 again. Again, still liquidity higher. There is still reason for this market to move higher right now. right? All the liquidity is just sat up here passively on the book. You can see it above me. They just keep adding more and more and more. I'm interested when we move under this grey box, not before. And my ideal circumstance would be come and clean all this out and then do this move. Otherwise, it's got a magnet up here to come up to, which is problematic, and it's why they're doing it. And they do this every day recently, makes it very hard. Back to this 70s. There's lots of selling up here without follow through downside at the moment. We get under this box, I'm interested. Definitely if we come under... Where's that last big seller? I'm trying to find him now. Why have I lost his delta? 57s. 57s. Big seller coming in here. Now he's clearly being absorbed because we're not moving lower, moving higher. This is going to go higher. They're going to be fucking stupid with this. You can already feel it. You can already feel it on the tape. The way they're adding and adding and adding and adding and adding. They're going to do a ripper up here and then probably sell. Here it comes. Here's the 600. There you go. There's the shove up. Now can they clean out everyone above now? No, someone's just come on at 620. So they're adding 100 lots over and over again higher. I still don't think they're done with it. That's previous week low, but I'm not convinced they're done with it yet. Not until we move under the grey box. There's still reasons to go higher, especially when this guy wants to keep adding 100 lots above us. Just trying to pull the market higher over and over again. There's definitely a buy got caught there at 600, but I'm not convinced we're done yet. Really not convinced we're done. This is a grind and grind and grind. When they're done with it, it's going to be nasty. Here they go. Still not done with it. Like I said, this 100 lot higher at 20s. They're trying to draw it up to 20s. Here they go. Fucking hell, mate. The fucking obvious manip in this is wild. They rebid 600. They will keep going. Remember, they can come for 670s if they want. Can't believe I'm saying that. I cannot believe I'm saying that, but I am. They can come for 670s if they want. I need a P, which means it's probably about to do the beautiful move. Have you got any short limit orders for when it shit reverses? No. I want to bang my head on a fucking brick wall in this market at the moment. If we go back in that range, I give up on the year. If they just do a tag overnight and they bid up all day and we go back into the range, that is absolute bullshit. Okay, here they go. Going for these 20s. Oh, look, they've added 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s now being added. They're literally just adding more and more and more and more and more and more and more, trying to drag it. Yeah, 600 QQQ, quite right. That was the old level. They're going right back for it. It's like Sunday didn't exist. We just bid, non-stop bid. Why am I mad that it's coming back into range? Because we've not retested a low, because we've gapped down and printed back up, and because we're about to reclaim a 4-week range without a pullback into a notable level to rebid off, which means we're going to go into complete slop after a failed breakout without really a fucking flush down to rebid on. And if you're like, oh, it did flush down, it flushed down overnight. It's not given a rebid opportunity in a New York market. Not really. We ranged in the New York market with a bid up. So here we go, 20s now. We might as well go and complete the move all the way up to close the gap at this point. Honestly, it's that fucking ridiculous. It is like Friday. It's like every day last week. It's just incredible. Yeah, that's how I feel. Might as well go to bed, shift my sleeping patterns, and just trade Asia, because it's the only time now where we get clean moves, which are not heavy manipulated bollocks like we're currently having to watch. I mean, I'm telling you, man, it doesn't have to grind down. If it reclaims previous week and starts staying inside, it can go up all the way up to 24,800. And then we're going to go into a balance between 800 and 600. And it can chop fest in there. Yes, I know, Slowboat. I know, mate. And at the moment, they're the biggest walls and levels that we've had for 15 years. I know, mate. I totally know. Seriously. When are they done with this? Are they going to be done with it? All right, so where the last bar came in is 600. There's still so much liquidity above us, guys. I cannot explain this, how much they keep adding up there. It's crazy. It's crazy. There's a 217 contract buyer at 24,700. I think you mean seller, not buyer. There's not a buyer above us. What's the red zone? Why don't you answer our questions? Why don't you come here earlier in the day? Why don't you come here at the beginning when I go over all these zones? Why do you talk to me that way when I'm doing my best? Why do you have such a strong opinion that you feel like I need to do what you want when you want? There you go. How about that? How about, why don't you read Nightbot, which tells you what each color zone is, which is printing every 5 minutes on stream? Why don't you do that? Which tells you exactly what the red box is. Why don't you do that? Oh my days. No, I'm not going to ban him, but it's just like people need to be called out. Going down, maybe, but we're still holding where these buyers came in at 85s. It's going to have to come under 85s, and you've still got these grey boxes. We've got another node here. This 85 node is key right now. They're still trying to absorb this 85, and they've got bids down to 70, and there's so much liquidity being added above. All right, while this fucks around, I'm going to go to the bathroom and then come back. All right, still holding these bids, still balanced around 600s. Under this will be fun. Like I said, those big buyers came in at 86s, 604s, and 620s, and they are still adding a shit ton of liquidity higher right now. And if you don't think this is a bonkers move, I don't know what to tell you. Like, this is a straight squeeze up. All right, look at this. Straight squeeze and grind, just like last week. That's all the market we get now. How do I know they added liquidity above? Because I can literally see it. If you look above me, you can see it. You can see it right above me on Bookmap. You can see them adding these horizontal levels of liquidity. These are passive participants adding liquidity higher. I'm, what, 670s? Insane. Insane. At least 670 point bid without any notable hold. They want to clean these guys out at the moment. And they're going to go for re-squeeze here over 614s. They've got sellers support there. They're just going to keep shoving this thing. I don't think there's a bloody thing I can do with this market right now for what I've been looking for today. Maybe it's coming, but I'm starting to lose faith at the moment that they're going to set it up, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, that's why you shouldn't guess tops, right? We talk about that. Don't guess tops. Wait for it to roll over. There's no reason to be guessing a top. You don't want to be guessing tops and bottoms. Yes, about to hit previous week low. Still got so much liquidity to clean out. Honestly, I can't tell you. They're going to shove this, guys. Too much above to clean out right now, I think. They're going to keep trapping until they've got enough. Do I have any videos explaining Bookmap? I have a whole course on it. What indicator do I use for the lows? Flow zone system. Everything's in here. And this is fucking mental. I am insanely impressed with these guys. What a bid. What a bid. Yeah, VIX 2783s, not 27 flat yet. We will sell this week. I don't think we go inside and just stay up there, because the fact that they didn't give New York buyers an opportunity to buy the lows is not a... it's very unlikely that we don't come and revisit that. But this is not a usual market right into this previous week node here. And they're going to keep lifting until they've cleared out all this liquidity, which is all the way up to 670s. And that will be a fucking impressive bid. I am astonished at the strength of this without a retest. Without a retest of any notable retest down here after we broke. All this in a New York session, I'm really impressed. That is a incredible bid. Now we just have to wait and see if they give us a sell or not, because I've ignored the long for a good reason. I'm going to stay pro trend, but if we start bidding inside this red box and it becomes support, then I have to be willing to just say no more trades. So disciplined, I just know what I'm looking for, and then look, I plan it out beforehand, right? Here's my plan. This is what I'm looking for. Either a failure in this or a shove up. This is where we're at. Look, this is where we're at. We're right here, right? Into the red block, right? Or a shove up into here, which fails. And then I can play a short down here. And if we rotate, I can sell it. If they reclaim this and hold, then we're going to go all the way up, right? So it's planned out beforehand. So we had this morning, failed to rotate lower, right? It held. Okay, so we cut. We're in this grind up. I'm ignoring this because I'm going to focus on the backside. So we're at this pivotal point here. Either we fail here and I get a sell, okay, or we reclaim and there's a, I mean, I probably will ignore this and there's a bid back up, right? So because I've planned it all before, I'm not looking for anything else. I know what I'm looking for. Everyone's like, you're not long, why aren't you long, why aren't you long? Because it's a choice. It's a choice. Everything we do in life is a choice. The quicker you understand that, the better. What you put into your body is a choice. What you do with your day is a choice. What trade you take with it is a choice. It's all a choice. You don't have to do everything all the time. Market maker model. Market maker model is just a very, like, okay. Yes, I follow it because it's how the market moves, not because some fucking grey-haired man said it, because that model has existed forever and ever and ever and ever. This happens right before London close. Is that right? So you think they bid it back up and then finish the London session and then are done with it? Is that what you're saying? Maybe. I don't have any stats on that. So if you've got stats on that and that's providing edge, that's amazing. I don't have stats on that personally. I tell you what, though, the chance of closing this gap this morning was very small based on the size of the gap. I know that much. But they're going to close it by the looks of it. QQQ very close now. Well, here's the London sell then. They should come and finish this at this point. It should come and finish it. Tape's getting heavy here. So all sell side pressure on the actual tape here. Every lot coming through is a sell. Very heavy. First buying came in just now. Into 25s. Still a heavy tape. So 20 is going to be key. This kind of area down here. If we look above, it's going to be really gross if they do this. If they don't close the gap, right, they should close the gap. And then I'll be looking to see if this is a look above and fail for this move here. And it might seem drastic. That's what I'm going to be looking. If we come up here and we hold this, I will ignore this. I will ignore this because this is a build out of liquidity and I can just approach it Tuesday. If we're going to do this or this, I'll be willing to play both ways. If we start basing out in here, I will ignore it for the rest of the day and I'll just come back tomorrow and see what we get. But I don't think we'll get that. I think we will get a pullback just because of how they've built this out. They haven't run anyone out of this yet. They've literally run no one out of this yet. This is a very steep move. Oh, London, another hour. Got you. I thought because of the times, maybe it was different now. So we just changed clocks. So London's 9 hours ahead now, right? Is that right? Or 7 hours. Sorry, I'm doing 9 hours from LA, obviously. All right, retesting 20s here. Yes, rejecting previous week lows. Q's just short of that big 600 level. Is there a selling opportunity coming here? Really want them to fill the gap now. They've done so much hard work. Once that last low-hanging fruit's taken, it'll be easier for me. Back into these 20s where that last buyer bid. If we start getting weak under 20s and 600, I have to pay attention. I'm paying attention now. Who are you? 70s. Looking for the short, okay? I want that to be clear. I'd much rather we come and take out 670 first. But if I start to see weakness build here on the tape and a heavy tape, which I'm starting to see, and if we start to come back under previous week's value area low, I'm going to think about the short. Definitely, if we start closing underneath 86s, I'm going to think about adding more heavily. They're still holding 20s. Tempted to put a little piece on here just in case we start to go. I'm trying to be patient. Heavy book. Heavy book coming in here. They're going to retest these 600s. Here we go. Let's see what happens now. This is previous week value area low. If we start to let go of this, there's a snap. Last big buyer came in at 603, so currently protecting that. Actually, delta outlier. Under that, we go 85s. So I'm looking to see if I can get a piece on here at the right time. Heavy book here. So sellers will need to protect 20s now, really. Reclaim a 20s, probably get a new high of day. So I want to see how we lift up to 20s, what happens when we get there. Still not in anything yet. Here come the sellers. They're trying to protect these 20s and get a close under value area low. Piece on now. Nice. All right, let's see if we can attack 86s. I don't want to take anything off yet. Come on. Dangerous. That's a dangerous reclaim. They might lift 20s here. I will not hold above 20s, okay? I'm short, and I'm not going to hold above 20s. Nice. Need this to close under 86s, where those sellers came in earlier this morning. Around, what time was this? Around 11:05. If we get those sellers back comfortable, we get a move here. You can pay yourself a little bit if you want to scalp out. I'm going to look for a bigger move here. Back down towards 70s. Want to close under 85s, though, really. Come on to 85s. Come on. Need to get under this 85 player. Come on. Don't come back up to 20s. Stay heavy here, please. Yes, bidding on pre-market high right now. So I want to be careful, cognizant of that. I want us to come back into the range of the day. I think there's a trade all the way back down to 500s here if we get lucky. But certainly 70s is what I'm looking for. And then if we stay heavy under 60s, then I think we can trade all the way back down to 500s and maybe lower. But remember, we didn't take low-hanging fruits. One thing I'm aware of. Looking for a close under 85s here. Heavy tape. Good, good, good. Someone trying to absorb here. Come on, tape, get heavy. Someone's trying to absorb into 90 in front of those 85s. They know it's a big level. They know it's a massive level. So they can lift this to 20s. Want to be careful on the lift here. Don't really want them to reclaim previous week value area low. I want this to stay heavy if possible. This node here, really, I need to stay heavy. It's where I'm short into. And I haven't taken a partial yet. I'm small size so far because I know if they want to lift through 20s, they will make a new high of day for the gap fill. I'm very aware of that. Need follow through. Needs a new low on this candle here now. Because selling got absorbed there on that last move in front of 85. Needs a new low here. Come on. Don't want to resell here and get stuck. So what we did the last 1 minute. Don't like what I'm seeing here into that level. We've got to close down under 85. That is absorption. There's no doubt about it. Absorption taking place in an old imbalance at 91s. No close under 85s. I'm trimming this now. So I don't want to get wiggled out. Very aware that that gap is still to be filled above us. Come on. I'll add back on if I start seeing heaviness under 85s, but not until then. Am I short? Man. Give up. Give up on chat. Be careful this previous week value area low. If they start absorbing it, it's going to be a problem. Come on. Come back under 85s. I can get some size on. Still being absorbed here, guys. I'm seeing a lot of absorption in front of 85. Every drop under 604 is being absorbed by buyers right now. I'd be very, very careful for a re-squeeze up here. Here they come. They're coming for that 620. And if they break 620, they will get higher day shove. So I will not hold. I trimmed my size right down to small size. I will not hold over 620. Back for these 85s. They've got to get a breakdown now. They've had too many attempts here. They've got a breakdown now under 85. Still being absorbed down here. Everything under 604, 604 to 85 currently is being absorbed. Until that shifts, I'm nimble. Sellers keep coming in here and they are not getting their way. They are absolutely not getting their way right now. If they fail to break down here, it will be a problem, right? So sellers are looking for this move here and then maybe this. If they fail to break down and this gets reclaimed, we have a low-hanging fruit to come up for. That is the biggest problem right now in this market. It's why I'm being very nimble versus these 20s. Welcome to the team. Thanks for joining. Dada. They're getting absorbed again here. There's so much absorption taking place here. It's a massive level, this. Massive, massive level. They're adding liquidity higher again. 15s, 20, 25s, 30s, 35s, 40, 45s, 50. They've just added levels all the way up, like 20 lots all the way up, hoping that they get a spike fill by the looks of it. ES is a better position than NQ. I don't think so. I mean, you have relative weakness, but like you're closer to filling and you've come into actual supply on NQ. What country am I in? I'm in America. Still nimble here. They've tried again to break down there at 600. They got absorbed again here. They're going to fill this up to 25s to 40s here. Can feel it in the tape. They're starting to try and push this to fill these guys who are positioned above. I want to be very careful here. I'm still short, but very small size now. I'm being nimble. Tried to get more aggressive, didn't go, so cut right back. Because if they clear 20s, I think we go gap fill. Here they come. Here's the squeeze up to 20s. This is what's telling now. Do they clear this and hold? If they do, we're going to go gap fill. This is last chance for shorts here. They've got to defend this or whatever they do on this little spike above. They must defend it. Otherwise, we're going new high of day. And they're still adding liquidity above. Of course they are. Of course you are. Here they come. They're coming for the liquidity above. Of course they are. They're not done with this at the moment. $85 still the level. So 25 got cleared out. No hold above it. 85 still the level that they need to get under, really. So potential bear flag here, but we're right on previous week's value area low. We have a reason to move higher. I really want them to just collapse this down, but we're being absorbed and you have to obey the tape right now. If liquidity is above, it's a sell order. Yeah, if liquidity above us is a sell order. Liquidity below us is a buy order. Lunch hour flush or 15 minutes left. God, that went quick. That went really quick. How are we doing for likes? That's gone so quick. Here it comes, 600s. Watching these 85s, remember. Absorbed again into 600, man. This buy's not done. They're just bidding on absolutely everything. Guys, that's pathetic. 2,200 of you watching, 600 likes. Get out of it. No giveaways. No giveaways. Look at all this liquidity they're going to fill above us. Wow. They're just adding more now. 55's got added. 65's got added. 60's got added. 70's now been added. 80's now been added. They're not done. So obviously I'm out because it's over 20s. Like I said, anything over 20s, I think they will go for a new high of day. And they're going for gap fill then. So they held value. And I tell you what, if we sit in here all day, I'm not touching it. If we sit in this all day, this is very dangerous both ways at that point, and I will just wait for tomorrow. Everyone unlike crying over YouTube likes. Don't think you understand, Dante. The YouTube likes are to give you giveaways. You fucking cretin. I don't care. Doesn't affect me. I can keep the giveaways, mate. Honestly, I wonder why some of you are here. I wonder why some of you are here. I do ignore most of them, guys. Do you know what's even worse? Is when everyone just tells me what to do. Just relax. I ignored everything for the first hour today. We had a good stream. We made, what, almost 200 points on that move. I told you very specifically, there can be a grind up. I'm going to ignore the grind up and play the other side. We were short from here to here. I've ignored all of this. Right, I think we had like one break even or small R loss down there, and I'm waiting now to see if a short sets up. Like, nothing has changed. Everyone just relax. Crazy. Will I play CPI news on Wednesday? I don't know. We'll see how we set up. Like, guys, you have to understand. Lots of you are asking like magic 8-ball questions. What's going to happen? Power hour. Will you play CPI? What are we going to do? This? What are we going to do? That? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in the next 30 minutes right now. How am I going to predict what's going to happen Wednesday? I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I can give you options, but I don't know what's going to happen Wednesday. I don't know where we're going to be on Wednesday, guys. I don't know if on Wednesday we're up here. Are we down here? Are we breaking lower? Have we reclaimed all the value? Like, I don't know, folks. I don't know. I don't know. I can only trade the price action in front of me. Okay. The opportunities today were quite simple, right? They were quite simple. They were a pop that failed the open. They were staying heavy under here for the rotation. They were the grind up back to here or here, and then the fade from here or the reclaim of this. Those are the opportunities that the market's presented today. We took this opportunity. I chose to ignore this opportunity. I'm looking for this opportunity, and I will choose to ignore this opportunity for a Monday. I will be happy to look at that on a Tuesday after we've based, but not on a first squeeze day up. It's too risky for me to play upside up here. Okay, Kevin. Mate, I feel like that right now. I'm 40 and I feel like that. I saw TradingView last update allowed people to pull full footprint data into indicators. What do you mean into indicators? I don't understand what they've done there. You mean footprints available, or there's something different available? I don't know. Have I tried yoga? Well, yes. My wife's one of the best yoga instructors in the world, so yes, I've tried it. No, I don't like it. I use affordable indicators. Yeah, I don't trade triple witching, and I don't trade FOMC. We had some nice. You guys are all acting like we haven't had any good trades. Like, the opportunity was there for you to be bullish if you wanted to be bullish. I'm going to keep repeating this on stream, guys. You guys need to learn how to trade, all right? Because I'm choosing, it is a choice. I'm choosing not to take this setup. It is a choice. Like I said, I was very aware that this setup could take place. It is a choice for me not to trade it. It is your choice to trade it. If you want to trade this, that's your choice. You're acting like there's no opportunity, or there's plenty of opportunities, but it is a choice. You need to know your setup. My best setup is a pro trend away from volume, which is what I'm waiting for it to offer me right now. Okay, so I'm waiting for that trade to set up for me. I'm not looking for the longs. I'm looking for the shorts when it's ready. I'm purposefully ignoring the longs. It's not like I didn't think that we had the opportunity to come up here. I'm surprised that they have the strength. I was very aware that they could do this move, but it's not what I'm looking for. So make sure you understand that. The newsletter went out. I don't know why you didn't get it. It went out to everyone on Sunday. We talked about this exact level that we've traded into, right? To find the newsletter now. I mean, we did the move on Sunday. Let's see what we said in that newsletter. Where are you? Right, bearish outlook. Friday's close will have given bears confidence heading into the week, with the market finishing at value area low and right on top of the major put wall. Of course, weekend headline risk always adds uncertainty, but this positioning leaves the door open for a gap scenario for the start of the week. And for bears, the ideal setup will be a clear gap down. Bears will not want to see another rotation of range-bound price action, nor give bulls any opportunity to regain momentum. Any attempts on a reclaim of 24,800, 24,900 need to be aggressively sold into for downside to maintain. Follow through below 24,600 would open the door towards lower pivots back towards September last year, and a break of 24,350, right? A break of 24,350 24,350 would strengthen the downside continuation to 25,250, 24,150, and 24,000. It was there in the newsletter. All right. At that point, higher time frame participants could start positioning for a Q1 measured move breakdown, with the measured move targeting 22,500. That said, those downside scenarios for later, for now, it all comes down to whether price action and order flow can deliver sustained follow through, right? We hit everything from the newsletter in the opening, 3 hours, 4 hours, right? And we're back up to what key levels? 6s, 7s, and 8s. The same part as last week, right? Nothing's changed. Gap filling, yeah, exactly. Yellow line, gap filling. It's probably where we're going to go. And maybe for a little peek above into 710s, just for fun, so all those options players get their fucking play. It would not surprise me in the slightest. Look at the liquidity above me again. Look at them adding orders in here again, all right? Look at that, how they're adding for this market to keep lifting and searching, all right? It's happening for a reason. They don't add up there for no reason. They're adding up there for reasons. How do you sign up for the newsletter? That link right above the chat, which is pinned. If you click on that, there'll be a tab in there. You can sign up. It's completely free. It doesn't cost anything. Goes out Saturday mornings. What do I think the effect of the market of war, if it's prolonged, will be? Very negative, my friend. If it's a prolonged fight, which I think it might be with boots on the ground, even though he said he won't do that, I think it will end up quite potentially being that if it's not ended soon. Very negative. All right. You can already see he's like trying to Trump being like, come on, you oil tankers can come through, it's all safe. The problem is like what you're seeing on the media and what's actually going on is not necessarily the same thing, right? You're being fed a lot of propaganda here. Who in their right fucking mind wants to put an oil tanker through that region right now? No one. No human in mankind wants to do that right now. So if you get oil prices stay a sustained bid, all right, you're currently trading 95s, all right, you got up to like what 112s or something overnight last night. I think it was like a 25% hike. You're only up 5% now. It's drifting back down. If you get a sustained war, you're going to have issues on what? On all forms of transport. You're going to have issues on any form of airliner, any form of tanker, any form of shipping. Okay, all these things. All your money, all your tax money is going to go increased onto spend for what's about to take place. Where's this money coming from when you got the worst debt known to man? You're gonna, if you get increase in inflation, which you will, if you stay in a prolonged war, you will. You'll see an uptick. It's a great excuse for him to blame it on the war, but it's been upticking the whole time anyway. With decreased jobs, increased unemployment numbers, and more delinquencies, you're going to be in some form of problem. You are. So that's what they priced in last night, and we've bounced back from that today. And we just have to see, like, it's a fast-moving narrative right now, right? And you have to understand it is a narrative. It's all it is. What you are seeing on the news and what is happening, the reasons for them being there, all these things, they will not be the same thing, right? So you have to understand how money flows and why it flows. I would say go and have a look at the petrodollar and understand why this war is probably taking place. Because at first it was invasion, then it was a war. We've got all these different reasons for it happening. The real reason is all about the dollar. That's what it's about. It's about oil and the dollar. I don't really think it's about much more than that. But hey, that's just my opinion, right? Right, failed to take out PDC again now. I'm quite surprised with that. Into lunch here, folks. Petrodollar correct, yeah, exactly. Some of you would have done your research and know. You said the time has changed, so when do you start streams now? No, I start streams at the same time. If you live in Europe, it might be a different time for you, but I still start streams at exactly the same time, 9:15 New York time. The red zone is a supply zone, higher time frame. Higher time frame supply zone. If they reclaim previous weak point of control, I mean, that's a long way away. Yeah, that's a dangerous reclaim. That's a very dangerous reclaim. That's right back into the middle of range, right? We come up here, I would then expect them to bid this, and this would be a look below and fail, and we go back to the other side of range, and I'd expect them to then run this higher. If, that's a big if, right? You're talking about a reclaim of that and a build out of liquidity here. That's very different. Right now, all I'm seeing is a 5-week balance. Anyone who's a buyer in that is currently trapped. This is the pullback leg. My expectation is for them to sell that. That's my expectation right now, is for them to sell this. This is a pullback leg this morning. This buy this morning is a pullback leg. That's why I'm waiting for the short, right? Because I'm trying to play against this. All right? If we reclaim that, it means I'm wrong, and we're going for a reclaim. That's fine. Just trying to stick to what I'm looking for. What a move. Yeah, it's an insane move. Off the lows, we're now up 650 points off the lows. It's really strong. That anchored VWAP this morning, that white line, they absorbed it really well. I was surprised. Double tap of that anchor. It's a good absorption off that low. Really strong absorption. I'm surprised they've done this move here. I am. Like, it's not like it's caught me off guard. I was aware that they could do it, but I am surprised at the strength of that bid. How do I join Discord? You have to do the beginner to advanced course on my YouTube. Links are above. On my YouTube, on my website, flowzonetrader.com. Comes for free with that. Max level on VIX. They priced in 40 right now. Let me look high time frame. Yeah, 40 max at the moment. 35 was a big ball. 40's max at the moment. For this week, at least. What brand of mushroom coffee do I get? Everyday Dose, it's called. Is this setting up a Tyson trade? Where's our IB? Not right now. We're in an expansion model. Look at this grind. This is just like last week. It's just awful. Your IB expansion, we're already at the 1.5 and a measured move would be 274. I mean, not really. You're about to fill the gap here. Gap now filled. And like I said, they might overshoot it and go 710s. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest right here. It really would not surprise me. And do they just sell this whole thing over lunch now is like the one little question I've got. It's really strong bid. All day, really strong bid. You can't ignore that bid. You cannot ignore the bid. I'll give this 5 minutes and then get out of here. If they sell this overnight when I'm asleep, I'm going to be very, very, very upset. How's VIX looking? Not very good. It's under 28. It's just on a meltdown right now. Gap now filled. Sell 3 p.m. like yesterday. Look at this liquidity added up at 690s. 900 lot just got shoved up there. A 900 lot just got added at 690s. Fucking bonkers, mate. Huge buyer at caught at the top. I mean, I wouldn't say it was huge. There was a buyer caught at the top, but I wouldn't say it's huge. 258 lot. I'd say that buyer up at 690s is the seller up at 690s is bigger right now, which is a bit of a worry. Market's attracted to him right now. It's attracted to him. It wants to go 690s because it's such a big order. It's saying, hey, maybe I can get up there. It's bananas. Bananas market. Yeah, previous week value areas here at 700. Do I use? I mean, you're giving me the same level. Like you're 7 points off. Like it's no different, is it? It's an area, man. Market has beer goggles on. I just think it's a squeeze, guys. Like it's the same as last week. Yeah, this. Oh, previous week. Previous week. I have it 600, mate. It's on an hourly. It's there or thereabouts. Yes, 690 order as a seller. That's why he's above us. They're trying to get up towards him. It's amazing. Previous week open just above us at 82s, and there are old imbalances up there in towards 700s. Five more minutes. I'm going to give this, and then I'm out of here because this is not doing it. And I just wonder if this goes 710s now. Cannot believe it. Right back. We're literally right back to the levels I've not wanted to trade around. Bonkers. Bonkers, bonkers, bonkers. All right, they're still bidding 50s right now. Low hanging fruit is gone. It's just whether they want to come for 710s at this point. We have to be very careful with this and make this grey now. It's not necessarily supply now. We've traded through it. If they don't start selling this soon, market's going to be in a full rotation with acceptance back inside, which is going to be a problem. It's getting interesting. I just don't like these guys at 90s and 700s. Just dangling up there. Where's his buyer? 50s. Can't remember that guy at 50s and that seller at 57. It's looking less and less like a good short, to be honest, the way we're setting up, unless we can get aggressive. Looks more and more like a slow grind. I still think we need to revisit this and we need to revisit this, but it might just be like not a today trade. We'll see. All right, into these 50s where that last buyer came in with size, so they're going to need to absorb here, and if they don't, then I'm slightly more interested. We are at lunch. Yeah, not using inverse fair value gaps, crazy, man. It's crazy, isn't it? Should listen to Dodgy. He's definitely the best trader out there. Using Bookmap and order flow instead of a made-up thing is fucking mental. That's why all Wall Street uses inverse fair value gaps. I tell you what crazy is. Crazy is believing that shit. That's crazy. All right, still absorbing these 50s for now. That big lot just left, though. Has he stacked higher? Let me have a look. No, he hasn't. All right. That big player just left the tape. So let's see if they fill 75s now that they've held 50s. And let's see what they do here and if that big player comes back on or not. Remember, ES and SPY have not filled the gap yet. They have not filled that gap yet. Right, they're filling 75s. 50s is still the level of these big players. We're seeing some aggressive selling up here, but we're not really moving anywhere. All right, this 50 level is this big player that came in earlier. We're selling above him, but we're not moving, seeing acceptance lower right now. And we did have that one player up there stuck, but it wasn't actually that big. But it is a good auction of the highs, technically speaking, but you just wonder, do they want to come up all the way up here at the moment? We're about to find out. We are about to find out. So 50s, all the time 50s holding. If they break high of day, then they're looking for a move to 735s. If we start losing 50s, then I think there's a move back down to 600s, and under 600s back into 70s, and under 70s will be a move back down to the initial balance and this 500 level. So there's 150, 160 points up for grabs if and when it's ready. What chart is that? It's my order flow on Ninja. Can I do a course giveaway? And how many likes we got? We got enough? We need 2 more likes and we can. Is there one similar to TradingView? I'm actually working on one at the moment. Should be done soon. It's just quite juicy to get them done. Let's say recent payouts. Well, I just put like 3 in last week or 4 in last week. I paid myself 4 or 5 grand on Friday. So that was Friday. Grand on TPT. I can find the Apex ones. Give me a second. There was 1,300 on Friday on Apex, and then there was another 1,000 that day, and I'm just waiting for another 2,000 to be cleared. Should get the email today, any moment now, I'd say. Just small base hits, take the money out, rinse, repeat, stick it in a swing account, get ready to buy it. Hopefully they offer the big dip. They did it on Sunday. Hopefully they offer it to me to buy in a New York session on some ETFs. Hopefully. Did I already set this up? All right, guys, type course once in chat. All right, just once. Please don't spam. Double keto. Just email me, mate. It has it all. If you bought the course, just email me or info@flowzonetrader.com and I'll sort you out. Just send me an email. Pinned it here in this wall. It's just whether they want to come up to 710s. Like somewhere up here, I'm looking for the short. Somewhere like this or like this is what I'm looking for. All right, while you guys do all that, I'll make a quick call and I'll be right back. While you guys do the entry, I'll be back shortly. How long is her sale taking right now? Yeah, I don't think half a minute is enough. Yeah. All right, buddy. No, I appreciate that. Thanks, mate. I'll get the photos over to you, and then we can have a look at the staging on it. Cheers, bud. Bye. All right, what's changed? Absolutely nothing. That's all right, Ian. It doesn't matter if you heard that. I didn't. It's nothing interesting, folks. It's just me, my landlord. It's just whether I sell my house or not at the moment. Back in England, there's nothing interesting. Okay, so you're going to pull this course. 3, 2, and 1. Poolside trader. Poolside trader. You still here, poolside trader? Poolside trader. Let me know you're here in chat, my friend. So still held this shelf. Look at this little shelf here. You can see still held. Yes, sir. Nice. All right. Beginner course, introduction course on the way to you. Just send me an email, info@flowzonetrader.com. Send me a screenshot of you logged in, and we'll get that course over to you this afternoon. Nothing else changed here, really, folks. We had more buyers got caught up there on that last little shove up, but they're still looking for 700, 710 right now. But sellers got caught down at 641. So if we could just clean this up a little bit for you guys. Right, you can see this shelf holding down here. Some sellers are caught in here into 41s. All right, and there's some buying caught up at 80s. All right, and they're looking to trade up here at the moment. They're just continuing this bullshit that they did all last week as well. It's just a slow grind back up, and it's impressive. It's an impressive push out of here. It really is. There's can't deny it. That is a fucking impressive move. There's no way of denying that. I'm really quite flabbergasted at this point at their ability. Here it goes. So they're going for that 710s. There's the 710s, and let's see what they do now. We've gone such a high peak that we're off the screens, and they might go 35s. At this point, they're adding so much above. This is insane. And ES might go to close the gap as well. This might just keep ripping, folks. It wouldn't surprise me at this point. If we come up here, this is complete insanity. All right, this is like nothing's happened. You've got to understand on a higher time frame, we're right back inside Friday's chop. So sell off, reclaim. If they hold this now, this looks more and more probable for an upside move later in the week if they can hold it. If they hold a bid between these, this is the liquidity build. This is then available. This is available, but the upside looks pretty good if they are able to hold previous week value area low at this point. And this is quite literally everything I did not want to see happen. Why is it insane? Yeah, the Fed, man, and the Fed add this and blah, blah. Do you know what you're talking about? Do you know what you're talking about? You don't think that on a day one after a 5-week balance and a Sunday night sell, a full reclaim in this in day one is insane? It is. A full reclaim in that in day one is not a high probable move. It's happened, but like the non-stop bid, it is pretty insane, mate. It is pretty insane. It was a short trap. I mean, it's too early to say that on a higher time frame, but it most certainly could be. Like we talked about at the beginning, it can be a look below and fail if they hold here. Again, we were prepared for that. We talked about this can happen. It can be a look below and a reclaim and a squeeze up. We are now approaching up here. All right, we've talked about this. We were prepared for it. It's not like something that we weren't prepared for. We went over it at the very start of the stream. That's why they win. They convince you to go short and not long. You know I took the short here to here, right, and made money. You understand that, right? You know I knew that this was available and I chose to ignore it for good reason. You understand that, right? Clearly not. I'm not caught in this. I'm not trying to short this on the way up. You understand that? Or maybe you don't. Doesn't sound like you do. 80s now become key, all right? That's the blowout of the 10s on gamma, right? Previous day value. This becomes key now. They lose this, you go down. And all you guys buying the highs because you think it's got an infinite bid and will never stop, well, this can come right down back into value again. It's mad. Like, I don't get it. It's like you guys think that if you're not in a trade, you've lost. Or if you're not in the trade which is grinding up, you've lost. You fail to understand it's a choice. We talk about it all the time. It's like playing poker. You need to play when you've got a good hand, when it's a hand that you like, when there's a position that you like. You don't need to play what the cards the other guy next to you's got. You've got to play your cards and your cards only. That's why sticking to rules matters. That 710 failure is looking pretty good now, isn't it? After that peak into that gamma level. Right, so this becomes important now, like we talked. This is sentiment now, I would say, for the day. You lose this, and there's rotation. Certainly if you lose that, and certainly if you lose that, so be a look into previous week's value and a failure. Just like we had this morning, a look below and failure, we might have a look into and failure. I'm tired, man. Tired of having to deal with ignorance on stream. Just silliness. Unnecessary silliness. Am I from the UK? Yes, I am. Those have emailed. I'm trying to get back to you now. All right, I'm getting off stream because stream's just getting silly at this point. You're getting people coming in late saying nonsense. Can't be bothered with it. Good luck, folks. Those who are with me all morning, you know what I'm looking for. I've made it very, very clear on the positions that I'm looking for and where. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow morning. Everyone in Discord, I'll see you in there shortly. All right, peace and love. Try and be kind to each other. Try not to be an absolute knob. All right, try and be kind to each other. It will serve you well in the future. Take care.